I'm attorney Chris Evans. I developed my 8 questions to ask insurance adjusters based on my experience as a young lawyer. When I began practicing law, I worked in a law firm that worked for insurance companies. And at that time, I got to see firsthand the inequities of the system. I got to see how people who were not represented by lawyers got taken advantage of. And I also got to see how people who had lawyers who were not fully competent cost them a lot in terms of compensation. I had a big problem early in my career with the idea that people who hired a lawyer immediately were viewed in a negative light. I felt like the fact that insurance companies had lawyers on retainer 24/7 and also investigators on retainer 24/7 to protect their financial interests was never questioned. But when a person went out and hired a lawyer immediately after an injury or a death in their family, they would be viewed in a negative light. In my way of looking at our system of justice, I view the insurance companies as attempting to protect their financial interests when they engage in some of the tactics I'm going to talk about in my 8 questions to ask insurance adjusters. I don't fault them for that. They're doing what they're required to do to protect their financial interests. However, at the same time, when people hire me, I want my clients to understand they should not feel ashamed at all that they have hired me, because they are doing nothing more for themselves and their families than protecting their financial interest. So if you're watching this video and you have been injured, you've lost a loved one, and you're feeling like maybe my neighbors or my family or friends might view me negatively if I call a lawyer immediately, I don't think you should feel like that based on my experience. And you're talking to a guy who basically worked on both sides of the fence in this legal system that I'm talking about. I did work for insurance companies early in my career, and I learned a lot from that. And now I represent people and families in cases where insurance companies are defending those cases.